we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no wonder why.
How's it going, everybody? We are here to watch the playoff game in QSL with the Apprentices and the Cerbs. Going into this game, a lot of spicy things going on. You know, both of these teams basically finished exactly even throughout the season. They're firing up here as we get into the bands, but I do want to introduce Dr. Legacy here, joining me as the co-host. How's it going?
Oh, you know, man, living the dream. Excited to be here, get to watch these two good teams in the playoffs.
I'm glad to hear to have you join. We're firing off on these bands pretty much instantly with this Daji Thor from the Apprentices and Mally Vulcan from the Cerbs. What are your thoughts on these?
Yeah, man, the Daji Thor, like, really strong jungle presence here lately. The Maui, he's been showing out as well, and the Vulcan, you give him any setup, and he just one-shots his whole team. Just recently, I played in a set, and a Vulcan hit one snipe and ended the game because he killed 3 of us with it, so dangerous.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you on that. You know, I am agreeing with real quick, this is Char Band. Definitely agree with that. You know, being one of the 2 main hunters getting played right now. But Daji over here, I think that's the biggest band here. You know, just that CC it can bring along with the Maui. I think those 2 bands being first bands pretty well. We do see the Ymir locked in right here by the Apprentices on the top pick, though.
Yeah, Ymir brings a lot of CC. He's actually climbed the meta chain pretty quickly here recently. So you got to love to see it. I'm a huge fan of Ganesh. He's always good, so that's awesome to see.
Yeah, seeing that Cupid paired with that too, you know, that lane's got a lot of crowd control going in. You know, sorry about that. Had a little moment there. Ganesh being able to silence allows Cupid to get up there for some lane pressure. I think it's going to be good, but the Scylla getting locked in over here on the side of the Apprentices, I think that's huge, along with the CERN.
Yeah, CERN is probably the top played carry right now. He just brings a lot of pressure. The Scylla, I do love to see a lot of late game pressure. Hopefully we see some nice combos. Ymir Scylla. And going back to the Ganesh Cupid, I'm really looking for the Ganesh to group up the minions level 1 for the Cupid Heart Bomb. So we'll see if we see.
Take pleasure in
I do think enemies. They have. The Ymir's going to definitely give them the lane pressure with the clear. However, this Scylla lock-in I think is really interesting. You know, Scylla coming back with a few little buffs that we've seen recently. But this Ravana is just able to chew out of everything that the Apprentices are bringing so far.
Yeah, I like to see Ravana in a little bit different situations here, but he brings a lot of early game pressure. So, I mean, anybody who can play him decently can completely change a game within the first 10 minutes. So, he's always a good pick.
Yeah, out of these top 3, we do see the Pele banned by the Cerbs as well, but I do want to mention off these top 3 so far, I think a lot of the pressure and a good amount of the CC is coming on the side of the Apprentices so far. What are your thoughts, Doc?
The CC for sure is on the Apprentice side, but late game, when that Cupid comes in and rotates with that Ganesh, that's a pretty dangerous combo. However, Scylla she's just a menace late game as well. So we'll see how it plays out. But right now, I'm really liking the Apprentices.
Yeah, we do see the rest of these bands go pretty quickly too, being Akama, Humbats, and Kronos. I'm curious about this Kronos band, but we do see the Disco locked in on the side of the Cerbs now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Kronos here lately. Kronos is really just climbed once again in the meta. He's just a menace in team fights. You just drop 3 ults and that man's just like, nope, okay, let's try this again, and goes back in. Late game, he's just a menace, so I kind of respect it.
That's actually pretty true. I haven't been seeing the Kronos, but that actually, now that I think about it, when he goes, he goes. The Nijan Bologna locked in over here on the side of the Apprentice, kind of rounding out this full draft. I think that's a lot of CC so far on their side, but this survivability I think we're seeing out of the Cerbs here, especially if this Guan Yu gets locked in. I think if they just play for late, the Cerbs got a good chance here.
Yeah, it's pretty clear the Apprentices are definitely looking to set the Scylla up as much as possible with the Naja ult, Ymir freeze. Even the Bologna ult would really kind of go hard with the Scylla, so they're definitely playing out of the mid lane. For sure.
Yeah.
And then the Cerbs. So go ahead, sorry, bud.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the Cerbs. I mean, they got a lot of late game. The only person that I really see is early game is the Ravana. So we'll see how, if they make it past the 30-minute mark, how things change.
Yeah. So you think in this maybe just this Ravana tries to keep these buffs down, maybe keep the rest of this snowball maybe a little bit behind?
Yeah, I mean, if Ravana keeps the snowball at bay, I think the Cerbs take it out. But if the Ravana can't bring that pressure early game like he's known for, then I think the Apprentices come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. It's a tale as old as time. Early game comp versus a bit of a late game comp. We'll see how this goes. How do you think this CERN Cupid's gonna go into this, the laning phase once the supports rotate to mid there, Doc?
I mean, man, CERN is just so strong right now. I think Cupid's gonna have a hard time unless, for whatever reason, Ravana comes in, gives them a good gank early, and the Cupid gets up early. I think the Cupid's just gonna have a really hard time. I'm not sure how these players match up mechanically wise, but pure god wise, I mean, CERN is just so strong right now. He's kind of a bully, so
I do agree.
Yeah.
I do agree, but I was kind of thinking, how's the sustain battle going to go? CERN having a bit more sustain off the autos, but Cupid, once you get those hearts, maybe just able to, play a bit safer against the CERN at the same time.
I mean, CERN just has that natural life steal into it, and depending on how the build goes, he's really, really hard to kill. I just think CERN's in a way better position than Cupid right now, so that's just my opinion.
And how do you think this Disco Scylla is going to play out? I know Scylla is more of a late game god. I do view Disco more as a mid game to late game god. So you think it's going to be a battle of who gets online first?
Honestly, I think the Disco is going to win the early game purely because of Ravana just taking jungle buffs. He definitely beats out the Naja, so the mid 3v3 up till that point, I think Discordia wins, and it gets maybe a level up, and then once the support comes in and the fights really start breaking out, that's when Scylla kind of starts taking back over. So I think Discordia gets the early game pressure.
I do agree. Going over to the solo lane, though, I do gotta think the Guan with the sustain is maybe not out clear the Bellona, but just able to outstain that Bellona if we don't see a death toll.
Yeah, so if I I've seen a lot of Bolognas here lately. I know a lot of y'all know the Honkler. He showed me a strat of going Death's Toll with the 3 as Bologna, level 1. And he's just so hard to kill, and he gets pressure right away as Bologna. If we see that, there might be a good chance of Bologna getting it, but Bologna has no way of stopping Guan's 3. So I think Guan will end up getting up later in the game.
Yep. And then that does leave the question, though. The Ganesh and the Ymir. Is the Ymir going to be able to get in there and get these plays? He's going to be able to get off, get these walls. Or is this Ganesh going to be able to get those silences off and just protect this team? Maybe turn it around in the late game, like we were saying, get up in there for his team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Ganesh ult just turns a fight instantly. If you get a few good Ganesh ults, get 2 or 3 people in it, or even slow them as they're walking out, it's a game changer. You throw on top with the Cupid ult on top of that, I mean, that's really big team fight presence between those two. Yep. With Ganesh's passive being able to go through the Ymir walls, he's also going to be kind of hard to lock down and kill in team fights. So we'll see. We'll have to see. But the CERN and Scylla instantly can get out of his ult pretty easily and get away. So we'll see how it plays out.
The other thing I just now noticed as well is I do see a lot more objective secure on the side of the Apprentices, looking at these comps a bit deeper now.
Yeah, that's true. I think we're going to, if it gets to 30 minutes in, there's going to be one huge fight on EFG, and whoever takes that fight, that's how the game's going to go. I think the Cerbs, if they just hold out for a little bit longer and get to that 30-minute mark.
I do agree. We're going to head on over into the game now. We're actually going to head into a quick break. I am sorry about that, guys. We will see you here in just a second.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
All right, we are back here. Sorry, there was some technical difficulties, and we had to remake the lobby here. Just going back over these comps real quick here, Doc. We were talking about how the Apprentices, they have this kind of early game power, but the Cerbs kind of playing through this jungle with this early Ravana disco. Any last thoughts you want to point out from any of these?
That disco does come into play here with the passive. I didn't even think about that until you said something. But yeah, that disco passive is going to really help out that Vermont early game.
Well, we're gonna head into the game now, and we're gonna see how this all plays out here. Just going over everything here at the start. Looks like normal start. We've been seeing out everything so far, but I am curious. Here with the Cerbs, we do see the Cupid opting for the Death Toll Devos. I'm so sorry. I was talking about the Bellona, not the Cupid, but we do see the Death Toll into the T1 shield, into this solo going the axe into the breastplate. So the attack speed versus the ability cooldown. How do you think that's going to play out, Doc?
If you're gonna go into the Death's Toll on Bologna, I really think you should get her chain, and it looks like we just seen her with the hammer right there. So, I mean, it looks like she got level 2 first, so it's playing out a little bit. But I think if you're going to go that route, you should go ahead and commit with the lifesteal chain first.
Going to Devos?
I mean, no, she's going into her 3.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry about that. We do see over here that this pressure coming out from Night Toad and Hercules able to grab the scepter here while the oracles do fall to the Cerbs. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just kind of, I'm really looking for a level 2 gank, well, not level 2, on the second purple, the Ravana ganking and trying to get pressure over here, because the Cerbs are already getting pushed out pretty heavily.
Yeah, it does look like what you were factoring in with the wave player here is factor. Oh, Simon getting low over here in the solo. Sorry, just noticed that over there. Hagaday appearing to just get some of that sustain off. It looks like he's even just able to outclear Simon here now.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a rough lane for that Bologna. She has no way to stop his little blade attack right there. Oh, and here we see the Vamana actually making that rotate, just like I called out. So that's huge to see. You got to love it.
Yeah, good wall there by Hercules as well, in my opinion. We do see here Bubble and Dubcatcher here having a little bit of a skirm, but the rest of the Apprentices showing up, and Dubcatcher out of position, taking a lot of damage here. That Scepter even just taking on a little bit, early game. That kind of hurts.
Yeah, I mean, he took a little bit of damage, but at the end of the day, he helped his duo lane get a little bit of pressure back. They're not forced into their tower anymore, and now they know that the jungler is lurking over here, so they'll be a little less risky. The Apprentices will be.
Yeah, we see that wave clear coming out from that pressure you were talking about. Heading back over here, Simon still hanging on, stepping back up. Hakaday just, ignoring him, clearing the wave, a little bit out of mana, so it looks like he steps back to get to his wave. Checking in on mid here, it looks like Kobe is heading, throws the 2 down, and B-More throws the 1. Both of them still clearing. B-More able to get that 2 off on Kobe there, a little bit of poke. Going back over to the dual lane here, we do see wave player falling back into favor once again for the Apprentices. Just that pressure from the Ymir and CERN. Simon still over here, just low on health. The solo's getting a bit interesting. I see Simon gets a bit lower here. I mean, what are your thoughts on this matchup so far over here in solo, Doc?
Well, so I mean, as you see right now, the jungler's coming in to help, but the jungler's a little low right here. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's just only taking a little bit or taking XP away from Simon, and it's going to be a really rough lane. And in fact, I can see a dive here very soon in that lane. They're definitely going to be all over that blue though as soon as they back. So that's rough for Simon.
Yeah, Simon does have that TP though. May have to use it a bit earlier than anticipated. As we do see Dub over here invading the backs. This is what we were talking about. If Dubcatcher here is just able to maintain this pressure, he's able to get over Bubble here in the jungle. It looks like I'm assuming is there a way we could check to see if Dub has the disco passive right now? It appears that Guan has the disco pack move. We still have Hakaday over here doing a bit of work into Simon. Everything kind of going just how we had said going into the picks and bans so far, but nobody falling as we hit that 5-minute mark.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's being a little cautious here. which I mean that's not a bad thing. I just feel like the Cerbs definitely need to get a pick with the Ravana as soon as possible. That kind of is the whole point of the Ravana. So it looks like he is looking for a pick though right here.
Yeah, Dub Catcher jumping in on Simon here. Simon's still having ult to possibly get out, but Hakaday letting Simon get back to tower, just looking to get that poke, knowing his TP's down. He can't really back right now again if he doesn't want to miss a lot of farm, but we do see Red Sniper taking a lot of damage as Bubble sneaks over here and steals this purple away.
Yeah, Bubble just got his beads as well, so that's going to be a pretty easy gank in about, I'd say, 3 minutes. Or not 3 minutes, in like 2 minutes or so. He should be over there again trying to get a pick on that Cupid. So that's going to be huge.
Yeah, Red gonna have to play safe. Down a purple now. It's looking like Nitoad's got a whole level up. Both of them having Devos now, though. That's what I like to see, get that stacking going. However,
there goes the
Calvary Charge comes out of Hakaday there. Simon has to ult to get away himself. Simon getting a little hop. Looks like he's just gonna back. TP's still down, and look at that player damage coming out of Hakaday as well. Almost at 4,000 already at 7 minutes in.
Yeah, that is huge. I mean, that Guan's probably going to be 2 levels up by 10 minutes at this rate.
Yeah, Bubble getting low, and first kill gonna fall to Dub Catcher there. I mean, that Ganesh ult coming out there, just kind of blocking them in to where it looked like Dub was able to get that.
Yeah, that's huge. You love to see the Vamana getting active early with the Ganesh. So you really love to see that.
Yeah, we were talking about the Cerbs right now really having to focus everything through this Ravana, just try to get the rest of the team farmed up, get to that late game where they're gonna have this team fight. The Apprentices over here, we were talking about trying to do what they were doing, where they're just trying to go around, keep the pressure everywhere. It's starting to fall through, it looks like, is everywhere on the Cerbs is just coming out pretty dominant.
Yeah, the only problem is that CERN, he's already a level up. However, at least for the Cerbs, your mid and solo's up, so that's good. But you're really gonna have to start paying attention to that carry lane and make sure it doesn't get out of hand here soon.
Yeah, that is something to point out as well. Red almost got the beads back up. It's looking like Bubble is stealing the purple away again, but I think if you're Red, you stay under that tower, keep hugging it, maybe get a ward up right where you are because you know that they're gonna be around your purple. Make sure they don't come around the back of your tower. I think if you're Hakaday right now, though, this has been interesting seeing that Berserkers come online, and now Simon's over there able to get back to AO clearing.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy how she caught back up in levels that fast to Bologna. But you can also see some different play styles around here too. You see the blue team. Oh, it looks like there's going to be an engage happening right here.
Yeah, as we see Simon having to ult out again, as we see the ult come out of Alberg as well. Everybody able to get out. This has been a pretty conservative game in my opinion. Only seen the one death so far. Although we do see Red getting pretty low right here as Nitoad dashes in after him. Bees come out, and the auto gets him as Nitoad takes down Red Sniper.
Yeah, that's huge. And he's now 3 levels up. The CERN is, so that he's going to be a menace to society here soon. So if you're Bubble, you're probably going to have to start. Not Bubble, I'm sorry. Ravana, you might have to start looking that way. But you can definitely see the play styles. The Apprentices are definitely looking to get their carry up, as you've seen Bubble steal a few times, and now they're getting the gold, so they're playing on that side of the map.
Yeah, they are completely playing off this dual side. As you said, they are on this Gold Fury now as Bubble takes up. It looks like that is Dub Catcher. Dub Catcher coming in, trying to get Nitoad, trying to get that damage off. It looks like the Cerbs are getting some poke now that Covey is here. We do see Fields of Love come out. We do see the Pillars come out. It is all big fight as Red picks up a kill on Hercules. Allberg is able to get out with barely any help. Night Toad picking up a kill on Doug.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, the apprentices came out huge in that team fight. I mean, it's a support for the jungle, and they got the Gold Fury, so that's a really big win for the apprentices.
Yes, a huge win, but I do want to point out, as we just saw, both ults coming out of the solo here. Hakaday kind of charging, Simon just ulting right away. It's basically been a battle of the ults over here with just both whoever uses it. Or if when Hakaday uses his ult, Simon's just having to ult away every time instantly. It's basically just been who's gonna burn it for this next gank. It's been looking like. It does appear this Bologna is also going into a Glad Shield, I'm assuming, with this next item.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of meta, the Glad Shield. However, I don't really like it. Not right there, not for the Bologna. I feel like if you're gonna play the Bologna, you wanna get the attack speed passives. So like with the Berserker, you might want to get the Shoguns. You might not have to get the Shogun.
Oh, we do see Dub jump in as the Night Toad picks up a kill on Red, but Dub getting low as most of the apprentices show up. Kobe using the ult, getting it off. Allberg getting hit by the second reload on Scylla ult. Everybody getting a bit low on the side of the apprentices besides Kobe and Herco. Looks like they're gonna just grab their Scorpion and call that another small victory for them, as I believe they also grabbed the Pyromancer. As we hop back in over to solo here, Simon's Tower taking a little bit of poke. He's half Hakaday back to full. Looks like he just came back with his full Glad Shield. Teleport down. His, I believe that's Beads also down. Or is that the ward? I can't really tell. I'm sorry. But you know that's a Glad Shield going over Simon now. That's a lot of damage adding to this Guan as he's just under tower trying to get it. Simon half health, not able to really do nothing about it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Glad Shield. I just think I would have seen something else there instead. I honestly would have went straight into the Shoguns for the extra attack speed and maybe make a few ganks or teleports onto some big fights here and be impactful there, you know. But they're playing, I'm not, so who am I to judge, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree. I am pretty astounded. Simon's Tower extremely low with everything that's been going on, as it does look like Naito did rotate out of dual lane there for this huge fight in mid. Kobe looking like he lands another ult and another one onto Allberg as well. I do believe he's 4 for 4 right now with those, as we see a lot of ults come out and Dubcatcher going down to Night Toad again. Night Toad now level 15 and 4-0.
I mean, as I said earlier, this Scylla is going to be huge into this team comp, and now that we're getting into the mid 3v3s, you see the Scylla pop it off, and I mean, and the Kronos is 4 levels up, and he's just able to do whatever he wants, and nobody can tell him not to, you know. So, yeah.
Looking back also at this player damage, though, I do see that Hakaday is still on top damage, but it does appear Night Toad is finally caught up as well. So, like, I mean, just the gap between, like, the damage of these top 2 players right now, I mean, both pretty much putting in the work for both sides of their teams. Like, I mean, what's your opinion on the stock?
I mean, the Guan, I mean, most solo laners are always going to have top damage early in the game, so that's not a surprise there. But the surprise is the Kronos having 9,000 player damage compared to this Cupid's 2,000. You see the Cernunos, apologize, is completely diffing this other, the Cupid, and which I kind of expected. The Cupid's just not in a great place compared to this Cernunos.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree, but the Cerbs kind of answering back with a little fire as they go for this, I believe that's an Oni Fury there. trying to get a little bit of pressure back maybe, but it does appear that Apprentices will steal it. As we do see some ults come out, I believe that's Albert going in and Dubcatcher as well. Hockaday in the back as well, almost getting Bubble. Bubble able to ult out. I mean, that's a steal and a 1-for-1, or maybe a bit more as we see Night Toad finally getting a little bit low here. Great wall by Hercules, and Hockaday is able to take down Night Toad, securing his #1 spot so far in this this game with that damage, you know? Keeping it up.
100%, man. I mean, that was a huge shutdown. It's really going to help out his team. However, the Apprentices still got the Oni Fury, so the gold difference and XP differences is still just going the Apprentices' way. It looks like it's a 2K gold lead right now, which isn't like unmanageable. They can still come back, but that XP difference is starting to get out of hand.
Yeah, we do see Albert just give Simon a little tap there, like, "Hey man, don't back here." Able to get out, put the we do see Dub go down to Bubble though, due to this little interaction. Be more trying to make his way back. Albert stepping back up, but all three still there on the side of the Apprentices. You know, just the way this game's been going so far, you know, the Apprentices answering back after looking like the Cerbs starting strong.
Yeah, we kind of expected this with the Ravana early game, and then the Cerbs are going to take, or the Apprentices are going to take back over for a while, and then maybe 30 minutes in, we'll see the Cerbs kind of like getting it together. But with the Cupid being down as far as they are, it's just these team fights are just going to be so rough for the next 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, we do see Red finally get up there over Hercules as well. You know, just still this gap and just damage across the board is just it's pretty big. Everybody just kind of taking their time more for farming. It feels like it's been a pretty conservative game for the most part. Every major fight really being over an objective besides one in mid.
Yeah, I would really like to see a fight break out over this fire giant here soon. If you gotta carry that's 4 levels up, you got to do something with that earlier. It's going to bite you in the butt. Looks like he's split pushing right now, and he's probably going to back right here. Yep. And they'll probably go fire here next, if I were to guess.
Yep. It does look like the Cerbs have the most ward control there right now, as we see Bubble get that central ward right there. Hockaday showing up though, you know, saying, "Hey, why are you here, man?" And then looks like the Cerbs now know they're going to try for that fire pretty soon. I don't know if they're going to make the... It's like I always say, you know, it's not EFG. It's not going to be game-breaking. Are they going to try to defend this, or maybe just try to get some farm? As B-More gets poked out, and Night Toad landing those crits.
Yeah, I mean B-More got picked out there trying to get some extra farm, as you're talking about, but it looks like it's probably going to be a free fire. Oh, never mind. Looks like everybody decided to back there, so that's an odd choice.
Yeah, a bit of a curious call there. Is it looks like everybody on the Apprentices heading back over here, but that's giving time to Red to get over here, you know, having that Fields of Love ult.
Yeah, we're definitely about to see a fight break out right here. We'll see how everything goes. I would love to see the Ganesh hit a huge ult.
That wall from Hercules right there, amazing. As we see the freeze come out as well, the Cern ult, bees being burnt, crits being thrown. Scylla ult coming out, does not hit, feels the love down as well. Dubcatcher dropping though, Hockaday having to ult out. As we head back over here to lane, we do see Alberg and Red Sniper dropping pretty low. Hockaday trying to get those heals in, but everybody over here pressuring this right tower. Night Toad stepping up after the Ganesh ult's down. Just damage on the tower. It looks like they're going to head back towards that fire you were calling out, Doc.
Yeah, that was a huge wall by the Hercules. He just 100% set that up and completely just decided that team fight was happening now. And everybody followed up really well. It looks like the Scylla ended up missing the follow-up, but it did not change the outcome of the fight.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. As we see the Cerbs step back up here towards the end of this fire, Night Toad trying to secure it. Apprentices do secure the fire giant. As it looks like now they're going to push up. Hockaday still in the back trying to, I believe that was Bubble, maybe wrong, trying to deal with him there. Simon able to pick up a kill on Red. As Hockaday gets surrounded, just a huge burst of damage as Kobe takes him down.
Yeah, that was definitely like a weird blink in from Hockaday, but it happens sometimes. Maybe it's a fat finger, maybe he thought he was gonna have follow up, but this should be a free Phoenix, to be honest with you. It's a 5v3. Oh, it looks like they're just gonna go for towers here, which isn't a bad call. It's a conservative, smart play.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go for this tower and then head over for that gold. Just try to finish some more items before they try to make a push for that Phoenix, maybe.
Yeah, it is an early 20-minute Phoenix. I just really thought they were going to go in for it. They've been looking a little aggressive here recently. So
yeah, I mean, just talking about what we were talking about. If they keep these Cerbs down, taking this jungle here, it's actually thinking about it, probably a bit of a bigger win. You get the gold to where they can't get it. You take their buffs to where they don't get that farm and gold. I mean, lanes are pushed up. I mean, they're not really going to try to step up besides maybe Dub here. Dub able to get back, Bubble stepping back as well, just getting those oracles. The gold going now almost 10,000 on the side of the Apprentices.
yeah, it looks like they're 100% ready to make some big plays though here soon. But they also don't want to overextend. They also know the Cerbs. They if they get back into this game late game and get one team fight, it's over. They're coming back. So they don't want to overextend. So that's a smart play. What they did: strip the farm, take the towers, regroup, maybe get a pick or something, and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely. We do see the first 20 coming out of Night Toad here, though. Grabbing that Deathbringer on that last back as well. 6-1 hasn't died since that Hockaday kill, but what do you think about him not having only that 10% pin and Hockaday rotating to these fights now?
Well, right now it's not going to mean anything. The man's level 20. He's popping off. He's got a 2-level lead. He's going to shred anybody and everybody. And I mean, Crate it just naturally is shred as well. And we don't see the anti-crit item. I don't know why I can't think of it right from Hockaday. Spectrals. So we don't see that. So I mean, crit in and of itself is pretty much pin if you think about it, especially if you don't have the spectrals. So
yeah, we see everybody grouping here for this left Phoenix as the Treb is pushed. We do see Night Toad trying to start it down, gets hit by the 2, dashes away. We see the freeze coming out of her, onto Alberg there. Bubble tries to hit I believe that was the ultimate that he missed. Looking back over there, nope, it was not. I'm sorry. Maybe it was just the sash, but we do see everybody stepping in for this Phoenix now as it starts to get pretty low. Hockaday blinking in the back there, getting ulted. He uses his ult to escape. Kobe hitting another ult onto Alberg. Alberg taking the damage, and he falls down to Night Toad as they secure the left Phoenix. Pushing onto the mid here, everybody low. 3 dead, 4 dead now on the side of the Cerbs. Only Hockaday alive. They continue to push onto the Titan as they go. This may be it, maybe not. Hockaday's here. No ult, though. Constantly CC with the freeze and the grab. Night Toad trying the best he can to hit this. Same with Simon. Kobe now helping to keep Hockaday away. And it does appear the Titan will fall. Game 1 going to the Apprentices.
they played that really well there. I mean, even the Ganesh had a really good ult, but it just doesn't matter. They had the level lead. They had the gold lead. They just threw it down their throat and they couldn't do anything. The Apprentices played really well that game. They knew where their strengths were and they kept to it and just went with it. We'll probably see a little bit more aggressive team comp with the Cerbs here in game 2, probably.
Yep. I do agree. Something I do want to point out though, I do feel Cerbs going into this game too. We gotta get a bit more damage across the board. Coming out red, be more dub. How can they just sweeping the damage here? We see Alberg even keeping up in the damage going over red and dub. Just we need to see a bit more spread out. Maybe play a bit more for that farm. Just a bit more safer. Maybe just try to get to that late game. Keep some pressure somewhere or something. I don't know.
And when the Cernunos didn't get killed until late in team fight over a gold, you knew it's going to be a bad day. He's got 20k gold, top damage in the game, or 20k damage, and the Cupid only has 5,000. So there's a really big diff over there, God wise. I mean, Nuno's just slaps so hard right now. So if I'm expecting to see the ban come out, and if you're the Cerbs, maybe look to pick up the Ishtar to help that out. But we'll see how everything goes if they decide to be first pick or second pick. But I would look for the Ishtar to help out that carry lane.
Yep. We did see that ban, I believe, coming out of the side of the Cerbs as well. Bit worried about that. If you ban Ishtar, then you have the Cern to worry about. If you ban the Cern, then you have the Ishtar to worry about. It's kind of a tough choice unless you leave them both open and then both on the other side. But I like to see the Cerbs play a bit more around a team that I feel like towards the middle to later part of that game they started to separate a bit more, try to grab that farm a bit too much maybe. I mean, I really don't know how to answer that because on one hand they got to get the farm, but on the other, if they're separated, at that point everybody on the Apprentices was just able to basically deathball.
Yeah, I think looking at game 2, you'll see the Cerbs kind of change up their play style. They really relied heavily on their jungler to kind of carry the early game, but unfortunately he can't be everywhere all the time. So he was trying to help Hakaday take the lead into solo, but Bubba was like, okay, you want the lead in solo, we'll just get Night Toad beast mode, and that's what happened. And when you play a little bit of the later game team fight comps with the Ganesh, Cupid, and the Discordia, you're relying a lot on your solo and jungle to kind of carry, but they can't carry the early game like that. So we'll definitely see a different play style most likely from the Cerbs next game. That's how you counter this.
Yep. All right. We're gonna take a quick break before we head into game 2 here. Game 1 going to the side of the Apprentices.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the QSL. This is Season 7. I know the title says Season 6, but that's because I'm a dum-dum. Welcome back to the Season 7 playoffs. My name is Raptor. Unfortunately, Uchi, his jaw was starting to bother him, so he had to hop off, but that's okay. I'm here. I'm going to be doing production and Chair 1, but Dr. Legacy is still here. Legacy, how are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm pretty excited for Game 2 after that. We'll hope to see the Cerbs come back a little bit and throw up a punch after they got Game 1. But the Apprentices played really well. The Cerbs they had a really decent early game, so maybe they'll play off of that and go from there.
Yeah, the Cerbs they did get that first blood, right? It did seem like things were starting to go their way pretty early on, but unfortunately, I actually just realized. They kept the same band spot, so it is still Apprentice's first pick, Cerbs' second pick. I'm sorry about that. But it wasn't entirely Night Toad on that Kernanos. He really just ran the show. But unsung hero here, Hercules on that Ymir. He only did 4k damage, least amount of damage in the game. But he had 11 assists, and those walls were nuts.
100%, man. No one ever really thinks about the support when it comes to it. They're like, oh, he only had 4k damage, but he set up a lot of team fights. But I do not see the Cernunnos being banned here, so I'm expecting. Oh, that looks like we're going to get a Ymir pick for the top pick.
I mean, if you're comfortable on it and it worked, why not go right back to it? However, unfortunately, that does mean that the Cernunnos is open and the Cerbs will be taking it. Red Sniper thinking that he'll have a bit more luck on that pick. And the Hades pick right after, this Hades is almost certainly going over to solo for Hockaday, correct?
100%. I am shocked, right? I mean, I guess comfort pick for Ymir, but you could have got a lot more top pick right there. I mean, the Cernunnos and the Hades coming out, really strong gods right now, so we'll see how they counter that.
Yeah, they really are. But Cernunnos, one thing that he doesn't do is that he does not respect walls. So this Ymir can still be a decent pick into him. And with how on point Hercules was in Game 1 with those walls, Red might have to still play careful on this pick, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we see the Naja picked up once again for Dirty Bubble, and Simon picking up the Rom. So he picked Kernanos into the Cupid in Game 1, and now he went with the Rom. How does that matchup fare? Is it better or worse for the Rom than the Cupid?
I don't know, man. Rom is a weird god. He just sometimes he pops off and he's in meta, and sometimes he's not. I think he's pretty average right now meta wise, but he's also really safe, right? So he can really sit up and get the last shot in a 1v1. So we'll see. He can also steal for secure, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that is true. We have been seeing Rom pop up a lot more in the SPL and SCC. As I don't know if you watched any of the games today or yesterday, but Rom really was a difference maker in a lot of those games. So it's going to be interesting to see if Night Toad, assuming this goes to Night Toad, there's almost no way it doesn't go to Night Toad over there in the ADC role. But I'm excited to see what he can do with it. But then we have the Ao Kuang, and Ao Kuang, a very niche character, and after the performance Dubcatcher had, I feel like this has to be a comfort pick. There's no other reason you would pick it up in this situation.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked about the Ao Kuang here. Not something I was expecting to see at all, but who knows? Maybe that man is a legend with Ao Kuang, and he goes 20-0-1 or something like that. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Ao Kuang, he does a lot of really good things. He's that late game hyper carry that it almost felt like they were missing in game number 1. If you look at their team, they were pretty early game heavy, especially with that Guan Yu and the Ravana, and then of course the Discordia passive to push those along even further. But it really looks like they're going a bit more mid to late game this time. I'm curious to see how well that works out for them, seeing how the early game and the late game played out in the last in the last game. But moving on to the bans, we see Odin and Mulan on the side of the Cerbs game banned out, and Kronos Ganesh. So a little bit of respect coming over to Auberg on that Ganesh.
Yeah, Ganesh had some really nice plays. Specifically, the one I remember was right at the siege, the final siege. He actually got like 4 people in his ult there at the end. Unfortunately, he just didn't have enough follow-up because Bubble was being a menace in the back and keeping the damage offline. But we get to see a Horus and a Tiamat picked up here.
Yeah, I didn't realize Angry and Haddix were in this game. So that doesn't mix anything up. It's still fair to assume that the Horus will be going to support and the Hades will be going to solo. But after the great Guardian play we saw in the last game, we see Hercules reprise his role on Ymir, and then we just see the Horus and no other Guardian on the other side, and that makes me really question.
Raise the heavens!
How is this gonna change the playstyle? Because I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna go late game, and with this new wall lock in, it kind of feels like, okay, they're going late game, and then you have Horus, which other than his ultimate screams early game, early game, early game.
Yeah, I guess they realized that they need something to carry them a little bit into the late game. And Horus, even in the support lane, can really just half health anybody if you hit him with that wombo combo. So maybe the Horus is there just to kind of help your team, or maybe they just are looking to get the Cerninos up like they did like the Apprentices did last game. And maybe they're just here to bully the Rama and Ymir early game and get pressure for the Cerninos. But it definitely looks like they're looking for late game team fight comp here for sure.
Yeah, but if you look at the other side, Ymir has great team fight presence, Tiamat has great team fight presence, Naja can take any character he wants and just take him out of the fight for a good 10 seconds. Achilles, that execute is insane in the team fight, and Rom just becomes a chainsaw once you hit 20 minutes. This is going to be a late game battle, and I'm very curious, who do you think has the edge in the early game between these two late game tyrants?
I think you have to give it to the Apprentices early game. I'm looking at the Achilles and solo lane into the Hades. Hades doesn't really get like really online until about level 12, 13, 3 items in. And the Achilles, you just level up his dash and he just pokes you down twice in your half health. It's ridiculous. The Tiamat, I think, definitely has a better early game to New Wall. However, I do feel like Tiamat just misses burst damage. We haven't seen him a lot here recently, and I think it's because like it's just no like boom, you're dead impact from the Tiamat. I think the Apprentices win early game, but if the Cerbs push 30 minutes in without getting completely snowballed, they definitely got it.
I completely and 100% agree. But kind of looking more specifically, Nuwa. You were commenting on Tiamat and how we actually get to see her. I'm sorry. But Nuwa, when was the last time we saw a damn Nuwa in our set? Right?
Hey yo, I see Nuwa support all the time in my ranked game, so I'm not surprised.
We're not in ranked though. This is a comp setting. This is playoffs. If the Cerbs lose, they are eliminated, and they go with 3 mages, and one of them being Nuwa.
I mean, New Wall honestly really can do a lot of damage. Also can kind of be safe. You see a Nazal trying to come at you, you just hit 4. You know, you just get into the air, and then your Horus comes back, get some peel off. And also you hit them with your wombo combo, hit the minions, explode them, and Nazal is not looking to dive anymore, you know. Nazal has to retreat at that point because she's weak. So I can kind of see where they went. Maybe they're just a little afraid of the dive. Maybe the dive is really strong last game, so they're probably looking to just keep themselves alive and do a lot of damage to the back line, and then worry about the rest of the team fight later.
The dive was a massive issue, and kind of looking at this, how do you think the dive compares in this one to the last one? Like the only difference is the Achilles to the Bologna, and if we're saying okay, Achilles is going to be really good in and beat out this Hades in the early, and is really going to be that bridge for this Apprentices team. How do the two compare in the dives compare between Naja and Bologna and Naja Achilles?
I mean, Achilles he's so strong. I think Achilles is just a better god in general than Bologna, just overall kit-wise, in my opinion. So I think it's actually better dive, but I also feel the Horus can actually keep at bay the dive a little bit better than the Ganesh was able to, because it felt like the Ganesh was very focused on setup last game. So I hope to see the Horus kind of transition to peel for this new wall, so the new wall can actually, one shot the Naja late game. So I think the dive is better with the Naja Achilles than it was with the Bologna.
I completely agree. Achilles is one of those. I mentioned it before. The execute, right? You get one character low, and instantly they're taken out of the fight, and the rest of the team's just sitting there like, what was I supposed to do? Not even a Khepri can save them, and that's what makes this character so strong. But we are ready to hop into game number 2. It's make or break. Apprentices up one game already. If they win this, the Cerbs are sent home, and the Apprentices are sent on to the next round. And already I'm noticing something. Achilles has a katana.
Once again, the Honkler, he's well known and respected by most people. He hit me up the other day and he said, I found some new tech. And I said, what's that tech? He said, Golden Blade Achilles. And I don't believe him, but we're about to see it come out here soon.
So I played a lot of Achilles mid when I wanted to troll, just because I thought it was really fun to just get Blink, get Golden Blade. No one expects you to out clear a mage in the mid lane, and then you do and just kill him early on. It's a lot of fun. I don't know, I wouldn't call it viable though, especially considering that he went this Tainted Steel instead of like a Bluestone or a Warrior's Axe.
Yeah, I mean, as we see right here, that the Ymir and Rama are actually out pressuring the Horus and Cernunnos, which is honestly surprising. That Horus level 1, it literally half healths the wave and does a lot of damage, so I'm a little surprised by that.
Ooh, Hercules getting a nice freeze onto Red Sniper, causing Naito to roll in. They get a bit of damage off, but both teams are at about half health. But look at this, a rotation over early from Dubcatcher and Chaos. Naito had no idea. A great freeze from Hercules MWP will save his hunter. Hercules got beads. I just realized that. It might save his life, and it will. Dubcatcher going a little under tower, taking a couple tower shots, but other than that, Hercules gets out.
That's a really risky gank. You thought you can catch them with their pants down, but someone was pinging like, hey, you're getting rotated on, and they got back. So now this Tiamat's going to get some levels and everything right there. And the Hercules getting beads, massive. I mean, it's such a smart play. A lot of lockdown, and you have no get out.
It really is. Hercules still the subject of some of this poke. But look at Red Sniper and Naito. They're poking each other out. There's obviously some bad blood or something here, because you saw Naito going after Red over here a lot. A great roll to get out of the way of the cripple. And Red Sniper, he does have that dash, so he is going to be safe. But look at this, a mid lane rotation of their own. Red Sniper, the dash is down, the wall is good, and just like that, Red Sniper might fall for first blood. Covey wants it, but Hercules steals it. The Ymir gets first blood in game number 2.
Yeah, that was they were a little bit overextended there. Didn't get called out, but I mean, even before that, the Sniper and the Horus were not on par because on like the same page. The Horus went in, and there was not a lot of follow up, so they weren't really on the same page, and that's kind of really what set it up. If they would have killed the Toad, Night Toad there early, that would have forced the gank to not come. So that's really what set that whole thing up.
Yeah, it was a really nice gank, and because he got a bit of farm earlier on, he is still ahead of this new wall. Given barely, if you look at the XP per minute, he's just barely ahead. But that early gank by actually Kobe. Oh, it's just because he's losing he just lost the clear battle. That's the only reason he's down in levels. There we go. He hit level 5 and he's still on top in XP per minute, but. That early game gank, you kind of mentioned it was a bit detrimental in all things considered, and it's really showing with this Tiamat, despite even rotating and matching the rotation a little bit late, he's still ahead.
Yeah, and that was mostly because the jungler, it looks like the jungler is also looking at this gank as well right here, but they're just not really in position. We'll see what happens here.
Well, they are caught in the little pit of death. It's just up to if they can get over here or not. And they are able to get over there in time. Naito, a great rollout and a great ultimate. Enough of a slow to make sure that Naito gets out. Red Sniper doesn't have the ult, so Naito will be safe on that tower. Naito is actually ulting and nearly kills all Auberg. Hercules will most likely fall here. He pops the beads to try and get out. I think he should have just saved those. And it's going to be a 1 for none, but that was a lot used to just end up not even killing the target.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, save the beads, but I mean, I'm not sure what his timer was on that wall, but I bet you it was coming up in a half a second, and if he just walled, he lived there, right? So I don't 100% hate the beads there, but like you mentioned, that was a lot of stuff for the support. But they also got the Rama beads as well, so it definitely looks like they're definitely wanting to keep Night Toad at bay this game. So that looks like that's their play style.
Well, after game number 1, can you blame them? The man literally wiped their entire team 15 minutes in. He was a menace. Akade over here, game very low. The fatal strike does miss. He walked up to get the heal. Probably not knowing that Hercules and Dirty Bubble were right around the corner. And here comes the tower dive. Hercules tanking the tower. And will he die? He will. He will fall to the tower shots, unfortunately. But that's a small price to pay. Support for solo.
Yeah, it's huge, man. Hercules is playing so well right now. He's really been kind of setting up his team all set. It looks like they're trying to get the blue buff invade going here, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh, that beads out from Dirty Bubble. Oh, a nice ultimate, and Dubcatcher's gonna fall from that. A fantastic ultimate to immune out the ultimate out of Dubcatcher, and now Horus has to use To the Skies to try and get out. Kobe still wants to chase, but with a nice dash, Auberg will be safe. Dubcatcher, I'm sorry, I'm not biased, I promise, but get outplayed, man. That was beautiful from Bubble.
That was 100% outplayed. Maybe he got a little aggressive there. He was just trying to make something happen. But it looks like Akade actually soloed the Achilles there, but it's probably a byproduct of all that what just happened over there. So,
yeah, Simon, I'm not sure if it was cockiness or let's call it the Zapman syndrome of one more wave, but he does end up falling for the solo kill. After all that, that's almost as bad as Benji dying to the Harpies after adapting saves him. It's not nearly as bad, but I couldn't think of a better metaphor.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of huge because now that Hades is starting to get, over leveled. I mean, even if Hercules or the Achilles stays on level, it's going to be huge late game.
Red Sniper has to use the beats. Another fantastic wall from Hercules. Unfortunately, Night Toad was focusing on the wave, and unfortunately my voice cracked as soon as I said that. But Hercules, You said it already. He's playing out of his mind. He has 2 deaths and he's still a level up on Auberg, and that Mail of Renewal. So this is a question. I'm not a support player. Mail of Renewal versus the Hockaday gets another kill onto Simon over there, and it looks like it's another solo kill. But the Windfire wheels will be beads out, and Hockaday will be able to walk back into his tower. But this is the big discussion, and I'm not a support player, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have a say or not. Mail of Renewal versus Gauntlet of Thieves versus Manicore Spikes. Which is the better first item for supports?
I mean, it just genuinely depends on your playstyle, right? So, the Mail of Renewal here, it looks like Hercules really wants to be involved in team fights or just ganks and everything. As you can see right now, he's involved everywhere.
Wow. Covey just deletes Dubcatcher with the support, of Hercules MWP. But yeah, Hercules is just he's. If your description of why he wanted Mail of Renewal isn't enough, just watch how he's playing. He's always in the middle of these things. Dirty Bubble sashing him without his ultimate, and he knows he doesn't have his ultimate. Forced to use the beads. That was a bit concerning out of Dirty Bubble. I thought for sure he was going to fall there, but he is able to get out in the end. But looking around, we see this Golden Blade finished for the Achilles, and it looks like he's going right into Pestilence. That with the Tainted Steel, that's a lot of anti-heal just for one Hades.
Yeah, I mean, Hades healed so much, but it looks like they're going to box right here too right now, and Hades is winning right now, so we'll see what happens with the support coming in.
Well, Dubcatcher comes in, and that invisibility made just enough of a noise for Simon to be able to use the Fido Strike to get out. But it's 4-4, and you wouldn't believe me if I said that it feels like it's been quiet compared to game number 1. But that's just because at this time we saw a Gold Fury and a Pyromancer go down at this point. And so far neither team has really looked for one.
Oh, it looks like a pause just came out right here. But to your point, while we wait for them to unpause, it looks like last game it was very heavy on the Gold Fury side of the map, and they were able to run it down and get levels over there, so they were able to get objectives a little bit more freely. And they're doing everything they can to keep Night Toad from being over-leveled. And the Hades is really the only one that's killing on the Cerbs, so which doesn't really always translate to objectives. So a lot of boxing, but no real anybody getting out ahead.
What does translate over to objectives, though, are level leads. And I know you can't see it right now, so I'm going to read them out for you. Hockaday, the solo lane, Hockaday has a lead by 2 levels. In the jungle, Dirty Bubble on this Naja has a 3-level lead. They are even in mid lane. Hercules has a 2-level lead over his Horus counterpart. And Night Toad, despite being the focus of everything, still has about half a level lead on Red Sniper. So despite their best attempts, and despite Hockaday really controlling this right side of the map, they are still down, and that's very concerning looking at this team comp and looking at how the Apprentices like to play.
Yeah, what really is killing them is the fact that Naja is 3 levels up. I mean, everything else is manageable. The solo being down 2 levels kind of sucks, but I mean, not solo. The support Horus being down 2 levels kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It happens with supports. But I mean, Naja being 3 levels up, that's just a byproduct of all the failed ganks from Alquan. He has ganked a lot and got nothing out of it. So that's really what's the major point in here.
Yeah, he has been trying to be this facilitator for this team, and it just really hasn't worked out. He hasn't. I've seen him try his ultimate like 3 times, twice on Hercules, and every single time it gets beadsed out, or for some reason he's not able to use it properly, and he's just not being able to find anything. Now he is still 1-2. He does have one of the 4 kills on the side for the side of the Cerbs, but if you're the Cerbs and you're seeing that your late game junglers this far down, how do you adjust your play style? Because no doubt at this point in the game they were expecting to be able to step up a little bit.
Here's the play. Hades just needs to start getting into team fights, man. He's the only one with levels up, but unfortunately, he really just can't right now. Even though he has a few levels, he's still kind of squishy, and it just doesn't really work out in team fights right now. He just gets blown up. But he needs to start being impactful very soon, or they're just going to run it down. The Apprentices are.
Yeah, well, we are going to hop into a quick break real quick. Unfortunately, Dubcatcher has DC'd and he has yet to reconnect. So we will be right back after a very short break.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding.
And welcome back, everyone. Apologies for that, but we're right back in the action. Dubcatcher, right after I said he hasn't found an ultimate yet, he gets the ultimate onto Simon over here in the solo lane, and this Achilles, 0-3. It's not a very good start for this Achilles right now.
Yeah, man, he's hating life, and I've seen a few games with the Golden Blade Achilles, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan. Not the tech. He's just too squishy, and it's taking way too long for that the tank to get online for him to do what Achilles does best, just be in your face, you know.
He shot that from the hip, knowing that Red Sniper still has beads. He used them after he landed, actually, as a matter of fact. But he was not able to pop them in time, and because of that, Red Sniper will fall, and that instantly opens up this Gold Fury.
Yeah, the Cerbs are gonna react by getting Pyro. They've seen it. They knew they'd done messed up, so they're just like, all right, let's get the farm on the right side of the map. Just keep Hades up the best they can, because he's gonna be the late game X Factor, or mid-ish game X Factor, because he's the highest level in the game. You get him up 1 or 2 more levels, and even if the whole team's down, they're going to be doing fine.
Well, Chaos, it doesn't matter if you're Nuwa or not. That is not a good position to be in right there, my friend. Chaos will fall down there, and with that, we finally have a kill lead that lasts longer than 5 seconds. The Apprentices go up 5-6 with about a 2K gold lead, about 1.5 now that I look at it. But this Apprentices team, they are playing so quick, and the Cerbs just don't seem to have an answer for it outside of the first 10 minutes. And we saw it in game 1, and we're seeing it again here in game 2. What the Cerbs, what do they need to change here to be able to catch back up? Because you see the level leads. The level lead has closed a little bit in jungle, but it's wide open mid with 2 levels now in favor of Tiamat.
The mid 3v3 is really what's making the Apprentices and the Cerbs just be different right now, right? New Wall just 0-1, but you see your Tiamat 2-0. with a little bit of a lead, and then your jungler is still 2 levels up, and then Hercules, MWP, man's going hard, right? He's going to get a freeze right here, pop off. Look at that.
A fantastic freeze there from Hercules, and a lot of damage onto Dubcatcher. He sits in that ultimate. He doesn't try to get out, and now because of that Dirty Bubble using the Windfire and Wheels just to catch up to him, and he gets the kill. The ultimate out of Nuwa is forced out, and Auberg, he doesn't have an ultimate that gets him out. He just has to sit there and fall, and Chaos can do nothing but watch. Chaos now, ooh, a great ball to slow him down, but he cannot get caught. Another fantastic, the freeze! Hercules MWP! What is this man? Why is he not playing Hercules every game? And as soon as I say that, he falls in the mid lane to Hockaday. Night Toad, a fantastic Aegis to keep that damage from hitting him. And through the wall, the Astral Arrows is enough to pick up Red Sniper. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Hockaday, he's still trying to go on a killing spree. He has to use the beads because of the sash from Dirty Bubble. A ton of damage, and immediately Dirty Bubble just leaves. Night Toad, what are you doing here, man? Why are you still here? You're 4 levels up, but what's that going to do for you here? Actually, a lot of damage. Oh, he doesn't even use the 3rd shot, and because of... No way! No way Night Toad survives this. He does not, and Hockaday gets a double kill with the kill. Stop fighting, please! I need to take a breath! Thank you! Simon will finally back up. Oh my gosh, what a... That was fighting on the entire left side of the map. I can't believe what we just watched.
Yeah, a lot of things to talk about here. So, as we saw at the very beginning of that fight, mid 3v3 for Apprentices are just taking over. But once again, it doesn't matter because Hades is the highest level in the game. And that man is a menace right now. He is just so hard to kill. He does so much damage. So the Hades is just kind of taking over. And he's like, okay, you want to kill my mid 3v3? Don't worry. I'll come clean up. And it's going to be like that for a while. Until they do something about this Hades. He's 6-1. He is carrying that team. He is on his back. His back has to hurt. But yeah, it's going to be a back and forth for a while.
How about this though? Despite being down in every other category, I'm gonna continue my sentence, but I just love watching in the back the ring toss just hitting 2 people and they're forced to. Oh, a fantastic blocked ult over here. And Hockaday is unstoppable. 7 kills in a row. Fantastic.
This is why you ban him. He is a beast.
The beads out of Red Sniper might keep him alive for a little bit. Dirty Bubble is now the target of the tower. Up into the ultimate. Goes Night Toad. Red Sniper dies to the minions. That's so unfortunate. I think he survives it. I don't know if he actually survives if minions aren't there. But now, Auberg is caught between 2, but Dirty Bubble is very low. Meanwhile, over by the speed buff, Covey will end up falling to Dubcatcher. And just like that, Dubcatcher's really turned it up. Started off 0-2, now he's 3-3. Fantastic job from this Ao Kwang. But Hockaday's a menace. You were just talking about it. Hockaday is as much of a menace as Dirty Bubble is at the moment. Arguably more so.
I mean, he's got 2 levels on literally everybody in the game. If you don't shut that man down, fucking... Oh, I apologize. If you don't just, like, 4-man gank this man, or do something against him, get a pick, he's just going to run the game for the next 10 minutes. They're running every other lane except for that Hockaday, so they got to do something about him.
Can you consider, wow, Dubcatcher catching the L actually by Night Toad. Auber can't even step up. This ROM is swinging with that Shadow Steel and the that's not Deathbringer, Wind Demon. That ROM is swinging, and we're only 18 minutes in. This ROM will eventually become the chainsaw I mentioned, and that's scary seeing what we just saw.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's kind of grouping up on the right side of the map. Looks like there's going to be a play to happen, at least for Pyro, maybe even Fire. But everybody's kind of starting to head that way. However, your carries are still on the other side of the map, so it's kind of hard to make too much happen without your carries.
This is just such a carry thing to do. Everyone's on the right side of the map. Dirty Bubble is actually caught out by Hockaday, and that's tons of damage. And Dirty Bubble will fall. Hockaday, 8 kills in a row. Could we see the godlike out of this Hades? And you're right. This Hades is really being a difference maker. But I'll tell you a bigger difference. He's almost level 20. He has 2 items till he's full build. He will be getting a lot more damage in that time, but after that, the Apprentices can just catch up to him. So, is this Hades enough of a difference maker in this game to help the Cerbs maybe get to the late game, but win this game?
I mean, he's buying time, right? So
Yeah.
we've talked about it a lot. That's going to help your jungler catch back up because he's dead for a little bit longer. And, you're going to catch back
No
up the
way.
bubbles. They're pulling the Fire Giant right now. They're 4v5 situation, so not a bad call. It doesn't even look like they know. Actually, it looks like they know now, but you got your Rama split pushing as well here. So lots happening right now. They dropped the Fire Giant, and they try to get some picks, which looks like they probably will. And, ooh, he got the beads off.
Yeah, Kofi picking up a big kill there onto a Dub Catcher. And just like that, everyone will get out. Dub Catcher is the only casualty. And Dub Catcher just came back. Dub Catcher just respawned. And now he's back in the grayscale. At some point, you gotta feel bad for this Ao Kwang, right? He's been the target of everything from this team. Well, maybe other than Red, who is 0-4, but it almost feels like Dub has just been the primary target of this team, which makes sense, right? You have a hyper carry in the Ao Kwang. You want to make sure they don't get to late game. This almost just feels targeted.
I didn't even feel the target. I just think they're peeling, right? So Hercules, time and time again, just peels for his mid laner. And, you're going to kill the jungle, like, almost every time. He freezes the Ao Kwang, then you get the beads or the Aegis from the Tiamat here that prolonged that fight, and then next thing you know, your jungler's dead. The Ao Kwang's dead because, he has no get out. He used everything to get in.
Ooh, Auberg stepping up quite a bit, and Auberg is definitely going to fall here. Dodges the Fatal Strike, and great dash. Dub Catcher able to get in, and a Blink Sash misses, and Hockaday is divine, and he is not scared of anything. Wow, that Book of the Dead proc. Well, maybe he's a little scared of Night Toad. Night Toad just kind of wrecked through him. And that's a massive shutdown for an already fed Rom. But the fight's not over yet. Red Sniper is now the target, and Red Sniper is going to follow double kill for Night Toad. And that now the Fire Giant is wide open. You're only missing your Naja, but you only have a Nuwa and a Horus to worry about. How much steal potential is there really?
Really, there's not much. You shouldn't be too scared. In fact, you see the Achilles going on B more right now just to pull him off, and they're not even worried about him. The Horus, they're not paying him any mind. But the double knockup does give him a lot of damage, but they don't care.
So Night Toad shuts down Hockaday, who was on a Divine, 9 kills in a row. Now Night Toad is on a rampage, 5 kills in a row, and this is slowly feeling like the unraveling to what game 1 was. Night Toad just really going off has become the hyper carry for this team. And if you're on these Cerbs, as we watch them take this tier 2, who do you lean on to try and take out this ROM? Like, we just saw him to 3-shot your Hades.
At this point, I mean, your Hades was the difference maker, but he no longer can make a difference. He held on. He kind of carried his team for as long as he could. He might be able to make a few plays here and there, but at the end of the day, the Apprentices just have the level lead. 4 levels on the carry, 4 levels on the support, 3 levels on mid, and 1 level on jungle. It just doesn't matter anymore. Hockaday was a menace, but his whole team didn't catch up fast enough for it to matter.
Yeah, and with that gold tree, it's an 8 14K gold deficit, 14K in the XP department. That's crazy to think about, that they're 14K down after how we were hyping up how Hades had such a big lead. It's really just been, the Apprentices have been the better team. It's really hard to argue against it. B-More getting kind of caught out here. A great stun there by Auberg will be able to get his Nuwa out, but the Cerbs, it's just hard to say what's going on because it doesn't feel like they're making bad plays. It feels like Apprentices are just making better plays at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Horus had to use a shell there, so that's going to be huge next team fight as well, if it happens within the next 100 seconds or so. But like you were saying, it just feels like the Apprentices have a better team. And it felt like that last game. I'm a little surprised the Rama just completely destroying the Cernunnos, because Cernunnos is probably the best carry outside of Ishtar. So that's kind of surprising to see. But like you said, just pure team comp. They just have a better team.
Yeah. If you're looking back at the Cerbs, obviously this is, if they lose this game, this is their last game of the season. So it's hard to say if you're the Cerbs, what do you look back on this game and learn from it? But if you're coming back next season and you're the Cerbs and was your final game of the past season, how do you take it? Like, what do you learn out of this?
Well, you have to learn how to adapt and overcome. And even if they fall here, right, you still had a really good season. You learned a lot of good things. You feel good about certain things, and you just always just get better, you know? You come back next season with the new team and try to pop off from there. But for this game alone, or for this set, what they can learn is the early mid 3v3 needs to be better. That's really kind of just what's been carrying, and then eventually Bubble just once again popping off, just one shot him, and then Night Toad just decides to get online whenever he wants to, and then goes off. So your early game is what you need to improve on if you're the Cerbs.
Yeah, and if you're the Apprentices, this is a fantastic showing, especially considering next week you're going into the semifinals. Given they win this, it's still not out of the question. But yes, they're 11K down, but it's still not out of the question that the Apprentices could that we could still be seeing a game 3, that the Cerbs could pull off the comeback. But right now, it just feels like, is there any way the Cerbs can pull off this comeback? It feels like the Fire Giant spawning in 30 minutes. The Cerbs are stepping up to it. Luckily, they don't have any Phoenixes down, but this has to be where you defend this Fire Giant. Otherwise, it's do or die right now, essentially.
Honestly, at this point, you give up your fire, right? It's 26 minutes into the game. It's not an EFG, right? And then you just, it's, at this point, without EFG, it's still kind of really hard to siege. You play defense. You play defense, and you try to catch up and get 2 more levels before EFG for most of you guys to get level 20. And then that's when you make your do or die. Right now, if you go for a 26-minute Fire Giant being this far down, I just think it's disaster. You need to step back and just give this one up.
Well, the Fire Giant is pulled, and Hakaday, it looks like he blinks in, trying to get a little bit closer. A ton of damage on Dirty Bubble, and Dirty Bubble will actually fall. The Fire Giant will go to the Apprentices, though, but only onto 4 of them. A great pick on the Dirty Bubble, and now it's the Apprentices that are actually being pushed back and forced to run back towards their base. I doubt that any of them actually step up to fight unless something like this happens. Kobe gets caught out, and now Hakaday, he's getting shredded down. Night Toad just completely demolishes Bug Catcher. Kobe picks up Auberg, and now complete disaster. Night Toad on an unstoppable hits all 3 shots on his ultimate. B-More and Hakaday just have to run, and B-More, he's gonna get caught out. Kobe on the killing spree. Hakaday, all that's left, and with Fire Giant, could this be an end call?
end call. What happened there, for sure, the call out was like, hey, they think they got the pressure, push back, wait until they get into this tiny corridor where I can wall them off and freeze everybody, and we just win. And that's what happened. They pushed too far, and now they're looking for an end here.
Man, if this is how it ends, the Cerbs played such a fantastic season, but not all the damage is onto the Titan. We see Kobe trying to poke out the members of the Cerbs. This Titan's not going down as quickly as they thought. Now Kobe and is falling a bit low, but Kobe picks up the kill. Naito picks up Dubcatcher, and now Red Sniper has respawned to help Auberg. Auberg to the skies. Hercules still tanking up this Titan, and the Titan's been reset too many times. It's healed up. They have to back off with B more respawning. The respawn times were just too short and not enough damage onto the Titan. The Cerbs live on.
Well, that is one advantage of being a few levels down. You respawn really quick, so there is that. So they did get off the defense here. So it looks like they're going to go Oni, and then they'll probably try to get this left Phoenix after a regroup. That's what I would do after that play.
Yeah. But let's not forget, the winner of this moves on to play in the semifinals next week against top seed Legion in the Shallows, or Mighty Horns, I'm sorry, in the Shallows division, and will guarantee themselves some gems, because even if you lose next week, you get the third place match, and fourth place gets gems as well. So really, winner of this guarantees themselves gems, but you know they're going for the top prize, but they have a very tough match ahead of them. And right now, if the Apprentices play like this, I think they have a pretty good shot. They are looking incredible how they've played so far.
Yeah, 100%. They're definitely looking postseason form. They're definitely looking for the chip of the champion type. But it also looks like they just decided to not make any more push and just regroup and get a pick here, and that's what they're looking to play for.
Dirty Bubble missing the Windfire wheels onto Hockaday, but Hockaday has to use the beads and now the ultimate, and he's just standing in place. A ton of damage onto Dirty Bubble. Dirty Bubble will fall, and Hockaday gets out? I can't believe Hockaday gets out. Dubcatcher pays for it, though. Dubcatcher has just been shredded. He hasn't been able to do anything since this ROM has gotten his crit online, and now Auberg frozen and just has to hope he can get back to his team. The ultimate out of Ymir doesn't hit anyone, but a blink in from Hockaday. This is quite surprising. He wants this fight, and he's getting shredded for it. Kobe can't believe it, and Kobe picks up the kill. Kobe on a rampage, and Night Toad is just on a killing spree. He's divine. He goes up into the ultimate, and this has to be game. They have minions this time. A ton of damage onto the Titan, and it will be. The Apprentices are moving on to the semifinals. Congratulations to the Cerbs. Fantastic season to get this far, but the Apprentices were just a bit too strong, and they'll be facing the Mighty Horns next week.
Yeah, what an excellent show of display here. You had like a 28-minute game one, or 31-minute game two. 100% well played. I have to give it to Night Toad by a small margin of MVP, but Hercules MVP popped off as well. But Night Toad was just too much. 2 games in a row, he just completely out-leveled everyone. I mean, besides the Hades, but once he got online, it just was game over.
Night Toad sure knows how to hold left click, right? No, Night Toad is so mechanically gifted, and it's hard to imagine that he's only ranking like 3rd or 4th on the tier list as far as ADCs go in the shallow division. Because Night Toad really popped off, Hercules really popped off, Covey 10-2, right there alongside Night Toad's 10-1. These three, and then we can't forget about Dirty Bubble. Dirty Bubble played incredibly well. Simon, a very unfortunate showing in game number 2. Part of that was he was focused and Hockaday just had a game. But Simon played incredibly well in game number 1. This Apprentices team, if you are looking for anyone who can make a run and beat the Mighty Horns, besides the Legion, because the Legion is just as good at the number 2 seed, I think that this is the dark horse. I said it coming into the tournament. And I'm gonna say it again. The Apprentices are the dark horse of this tournament, and I think that they have a very good chance of making a run.
Yeah, if they keep up that pace with this, they were definitely coherent. The synergy was there. Every objective was clean, and all the team fights were just really, really clean. So they keep up this. You're right. They can definitely win it.
I have to shout out Hockaday though. He played his heart out. He did everything he could. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. 29k damage, only beat out by the Tiamat, because Tiamat gets free damage without even being anywhere near you. It's insane that it's insane what Hockaday did. I really thought that Hockaday could pull this team and really help them get to that ultra late game, where Red Sniper can get a few more items online, where Auber can catch up to Hercules, where B-More will be able to just half health anyone on command. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And part of that, I'm not blaming him. Because in all honesty, what were you supposed to do? Whenever Dubcatcher went onto Night Toad, or Covey, because they were right next to each other most of the time, he got maybe 2 autos off before he died. Dubcatcher just wasn't able to do anything, and that wasn't any fault of his own.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that came into play, but unfortunately, like you said, Hockaday just wasn't able to keep his team alive long enough. But, once again, well done on the season, Cerbs, and congratulations, Apprentices.
Yeah, and with that, the Apprentices will be moving on next week, as I said, to face the Mighty Horns, the number 1 seed, and that's gonna be one hell of a game. If it's anything like we saw, if the Apprentices play anything like we saw today, that could be an incredible game. Excuse me, but as for tonight, that's all for us. I've been Raptor. Joining me on his debut cast, by the way. Fantastic job, Dr. Legacy. Thank you for being here. And of course to Uchi, who unfortunately couldn't make it for this final game. We had a blast. It's always a blast to cast these, and the playoffs are just getting started, people. I can't wait to see how they shape up. But for tonight, that'll be all. We'll see y'all later.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when